Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, the series where I share my review and my opinion on different video games that I've experienced. It's about time we talked about Kingdom Hearts 3. Why 3 and not the others? Well, all the past entries are already reviewed in my website and I might make them their own video at some point, but today I want to focus on Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 might have the number 3 tied to it, but it's by no means the third entry, but in fact this is the 10th game of the series, not including the bundles. Kingdom Hearts 3 was meant to be the title to put an end to the Dark Saga arc, also known as the Xehanort Saga. The game was highly anticipated ever since 2005, when Kingdom Hearts 2 was out, and ever since the first teaser was shown in 2013. It wasn't until January 2019 that we got our hands on Kingdom Hearts 3. The game was met with plenty of positive reviews, various nominations, and awards from everyone, fans and journalists. The game also received some unnecessary hate from people who barely did any research or simply jumped on it, thinking that they'll understand the plot to its 100%. This is not to say that Kingdom Hearts 3 cannot be played without any prior knowledge, since the game does a lot to explain stuff, with its own cutscenes, and it also offers game logs which consist of plenty of written descriptions of all the other games. But I'm gonna be honest, trying to understand Kingdom Hearts by reading it, it's not the same and you probably won't understand a lot of it. I already addressed many unfair criticisms in what I believe was my 10th video at the time. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts 3, as mentioned, was released for both PlayStation 4 and Xbox in 2019, for Steam in 2020, and for Switch in 2021. The game was once again developed by Square Enix and published by themselves. The story of the game picks exactly where Drip dropped distance and 2.8 left, Sora failing his master exam and losing his powers, whereas Riku and Miki prepare themselves to venture in the realm of darkness in order to find the lost Keyblade Master Aqua. The story of the game picks exactly where Drip dropped distance and 2.8 left, Sora failing his master exams and losing his powers, whereas Riku and Miki prepare themselves to venture to the realm of darkness in order to find the lost Keyblade Master Aqua. The story focuses on Sora, Donald and Goofy visiting Disney worlds with the hope of reawakening Sora's powers, discover clues about the lost Keyblade Masters, and stop the real Organization 13 from collecting their Princesses of Heart. Pretty much, the bad guy is trying to form the true Keyblade in order to awaken Kingdom Hearts. To do so, he needs 13 Vessels of Darknesses and 7 Guardians of Light. In Dream Drop Distance, he claimed that his 13 Darknesses are ready, and that if the Light Guardians fail to gather 7 Lights, then he'll use the alternative plan, which is the Princess of Heart. A plan which we are all familiar since Kingdom Hearts 1. While Sora and his friends do that, we constantly get cuts of Riku and Miki trying to locate Aqua. Aqua is in the realm of darkness. The heroes always intended to find her, but they were not ready to travel in there and thus they kept opposing it. Aqua is also the only person who knows the whereabouts of Ventus, another Keyblade user. Furthermore, Yen Sid also explains how Hikari and Lee, prior known as Axel, are in a different realm, training to become their own Keyblade users. The story also takes a chance to showcase the bad guys and their own plans, as well as other pawns who move around forming their own plans. The game is fully voice acted and is delivered through in-game cutscenes and CGI movie quality animation. I personally love the game's story as it managed to bring all the games into one and give a satisfying ending and conclusion to plenty of open circles and character stories. At the same time, although the story of the Dark Saga is officially closed, the game manages to leave space for the next arc to take place with an amazing cliffhanger. While playing the game, there are plenty of times that I was amazed, plenty of times that I was shocked, and of course, being in Kingdom Hearts, there was plenty of times that I was shedding tears uncontrollably. The DLC expansion, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, also includes story elements that gave us better understanding of what happened, which once again was devastating. The gameplay of the game is keeping the formula of the series the same, but always improving it with every entry. The game focuses on Sora and his friends who visit various Disney worlds, including Pixar this time, helping whoever needs help, while at the same time trying to reawaken Sora's sleeping powers from the events of Kingdom Hearts Drip Drop Distance, as the Forces of Light will soon have to crash with the Forces of Darkness. The player gets control of Sora, a young boy who has chosen to wield the iconic Keyblade. There are some parts where the player will play as Aqua and Riku, but the main focus is on Sora. The game is an action role-playing game which combines real-time combat, quick commands and RPG element that boosts the status of the heroes. When the heroes visit new worlds, the players are free to maneuver around and explore the areas. Each map consists of various items such as cooking ingredients, power-up materials, crafting materials, and chests containing various items. Sora is able to walk around, jump and double jump to reach higher areas, and glide or air dash to reach further locations. Furthermore, the players are capable of using the air jump off the wall in order to gain extra height on their jump. New to Kingdom Hearts 3 is the ability to walk on walls that have glowing aura. Certain map locations are reachable by using Sora's focus, otherwise known as shotlock, in order to airstep. The combat of the game is fun, flashy, and chaotic. The player can equip their skill points to increase their combos, their damage, and overall status. Similar to other entries, Sora can hit the enemies with his Keyblade and his abilities to cast magic. Close combat is mainly achieved with the Keyblade. Mashing the attack button will allow Sora to combo his nearby enemies. With certain upgrades, the combo can extend to either add more buttons to launch enemies in the air, to have party members join him to have a special finisher, or throw the enemies in the air to then air combo. The maps can also help Sora extend his combos by either spinning into trees, lamps, and other locations that can be used with flow motion. New to Kingdom Hearts 3 is the Keyblade transformation. Very similar to the iconic Kingdom Hearts 2 drive forms, 3 has a similar yet superior mechanic where each time Sora lands a hit, a bar is slowly building up. This bar is represented by arrows above the command menu on the bottom left. When the third one is maxed out, the player can press the quick command to transform their Keyblades. Each Keyblade has 2 unique transformations that not only change their attack patterns and gameplay, but also their specials. Some Keyblades transform into ranged weapons such as guns and a magical staff that shoot projectiles towards enemies. Once again, each of them is unique, as the 2 guns can shoot plenty of magical bullets to the enemies, whereas the staff is capable of creating clones each time Sora dodges and attack with him every time he attacks. When using Shotlock to max out, the guns will allow Sora to leap in the sky and rain down magical bullets to the enemies, whereas the staff will spawn mirrors that ricochet the bullets around, hitting anyone within the area. For their second transformation, obtained by simply using the Keyblade, which once again builds the arrows that you can see on the bottom screen, gun Keyblades will transform into a bazooka that can be used both in close combat and to shoot an explosive ammo. Once the blade reaches its final form, a quick command will instantly become available where the player can simply use the weapon's final attack or continue fighting with it until the timer runs out. You can also use it and right before the time runs out, just use the attack. The ultimate is usually a powerful, uninterrupted cutscene that causes a giant explosion that covers a huge area. Other Keyblade transformations include spears, giant hammers, drills, yo-yos, shields, and others, which is better to experience the magic on your own. Each Keyblade is unique, and also new to Kingdom Hearts 3 is the fact that the player can upgrade their Keyblade of preference and have it relevant throughout the game. This is new, as in all the past entries, each time Sora obtained a new Keyblade, it was either more powerful or it offered better status on the description, and the player usually swapped it out for the new and better one. Furthermore, for the first time in Kingdom Hearts, the player can equip Sora with up to 3 Keyblades that they can swap in the fly with the tap of a button. This allows the player to use more than one Keyblade or certain Keyblade transformations. For example, the player can have their favorite Keyblade of preference, a blade capable of long-range attacks, and a weapon with different abilities such as the hammer or the yo-yo. Swapping a Keyblade when it's awakened allows the player to store the power-up and prevent its bar from running out, especially if the player defeated all the enemies in the area and there's no one to attack. Returning to that Keyblade will continue the countdown from where it was last left. For long-range attacks, Sora can use his long-range Keyblade transformations, if available, and Sora's magical abilities. Sora has an MP bar below his HP bar, which represents his mana, which is what the player spends in order to use magic. There's plenty of spell attacks that the player can use, but the main spells are usually the elemental attacks and Cure. Cure is one of the most powerful spells that will instantly restore Sora's health back to 100% no matter how much he had, with the pay of consuming the entire MP bar. The elemental attacks are powerful projectiles based on a natural element. Certain attacks can not only be used defensively, but also as a way to move around. To elaborate, Blizzard is a powerful freezing spell. When it shoots a projectile that will freeze the enemies. When powered up, the spell leaves a track on its path that allows Sora to grind on it to help him move around faster. The wind spell is a powerful attack that creates a tornado. If Sora walks inside a tornado, it will launch him into high areas which he cannot just reach with his double jump. Both attacks are used with flow motion, which then the player can use the X button to land himself on the ground using a good AoE attack. Water is the new spell that none of the past entries had the water element. When the spell is cast, it creates a small shield around Sora that will hit the enemies or absorb any projectile attacks before it leaves the Keyblade and splashes to the ground. A spell can be shot up to 3 times in a row, and each time the attack becomes more powerful and consumes more MP. Furthermore, elite spells can occur if the player used their attack correctly. To elaborate, as mentioned, the Keyblade can transform if the blade is used when the bar is completely, the 3 arrows that I noted. However, if the attack used to fully build the third bar was a spell, Then, instead of getting a quick command to transform the Keyblade, the player will receive a quick command for a powerful elemental attack. These are powerful attacks that do not cost any MP and they can create an enormous AoE blast. Kingdom Hearts 3 also introduced the new idea of Disney attractions, which I personally not a huge fan of. This is a new quick command that had a lot of mixed reviews, the majority of it being negative, as not only these attacks are overpowered, they are also occur very often. When fighting enemies within a certain space, there will be a few who will have a green circle surrounding them. When the enemy receives a hit, a quick command will become available with a certain Disney attraction. These are attacks that will trigger cutscenes where the player has invincible frames and they can do devastating damage. It can be either the Peter Pan ship found in Disneyland, it can be Buzz Blaster, it can be the Mad Teacups, it can even be the Carousel. Attraction flows are random, they're overpowered, they last way too long, and they're free to use, so go ahead and abuse them as much as you want to. It is in my belief that in the higher difficulty there is a passive skill that doesn't allow them to appear, but yeah, it is what it is. The last three inclusions of the game are summons, team attacks, and shotlocks. Team attacks has Sora joining his party members to create cinematic attacks such as Donald's Meteor Rain, Buzz and Woody's Rocket Ship, and Goofy's Shield Dash. Summons, similar to other entries, consume all the mana and summon a Disney character to create major AoE attacks. This can be the Little Mermaid, a Dream Eater, Simba, and others. Last but not least, shotlocks use the focus bar and have Sora slowing down time while the player moves around the camera, auto-locking into enemies. If the shotlock was maxed out, there will be a finishing animation. If it was not, it will shoot other projectiles, which all of them do a devastating damage, don't get me wrong. The more the focus bar, the longer the time will stay frozen for Sora to auto-lock. The Gummy Ship is back in Kingdom Hearts 3, but this time, space is an open world where the player can move around, killing enemies, encounter boss battles, and search for treasures. The Gummy Ship editor is back, where the player can customize their own Gummy Ship, buy items found in space, items found in the store, and general rewards. The worlds of both Toy Story and the Pirates of the Caribbean both offer new mechanics. In Caribbean, the heroes have their own pirate ship and they can conquer the 7 seas. While sailing, the player can attack enemy ships and also guard against enemy projectiles. These are small mini-games of a pirate simulation, where you can just go from island to island collecting treasures and others. Furthermore, Caribbean also allows the player to explore the underwater area, with plenty of caves, wrecked ships, and fights to have down there. In Toyland, Sora is capable of defeating enemies and steal their mechas, which then he can pilot. Each mecha have their own unique attack patterns and animations. Kingdom Hearts 3 also has plenty of post-game content in the form of multiple mini-games, challenge gates, treasure huntings, and collectible hunting. Finally, the DLC allowed the players to play the last portion of the game, but this time allowing the player to experience more than just Sora. The DLC also included a camera mode where the player can place the heroes into maps and pose them as they like in order to take some cool screenshots. Last but not least, it brought back the data battles. These are boss battles with both versions of the enemies. Completing them all unlocks a final secret battle with Yozora, a character who will play a major role in Kingdom Hearts 4. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It may be longer than usual, and trust me, I cut a lot of things or briefly mention a few stuff, but you can all find it in full details in my website, linked below. Before ending the video, shout out to my childhood friend Van Sol, who made me the drugs that I used in my new intro. With that being said, I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!